welcome back to another episode of the Weekday Saints podcast. I'm Jonathan Ingram. We try every week on this show to give you stories of faithful Christians here in Chattanooga who are trying to live out their walk with Jesus and the mundane, everyday, normal things that they do in their work and things that are happening every day in our city. Today, we're really excited to talk with Larry Daniel. Larry is a hard worker who has an amazing story, but the thing that drives him is his relationship with his kids as a dad. And he's going to talk about his work. He's going to talk about his work with a nonprofit organization, but he's going to spend a lot of time talking about what it means for him to leave a legacy for his kids. So I hope you enjoy today's episode.
Welcome back to another episode of the Weekday Saints, where we get to talk to amazing people here in Chattanooga, talking about how God shows up in their everyday world. Today, we have Mr. Larry Daniel. Thank you so much, Larry, for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
And my amazing co-host, as always, Jonathan Ingram.
Yes, good to be back. And Larry, we're so glad that you're here with us today.
Appreciate that.
Well, Larry, before we jump into talking about your work, I'd love to know about your story. Where are you from? Do you have a family? Are you from Chattanooga, from somewhere else? Tell us a little bit about Larry Daniel.
Well, Larry Daniel, I have two boys, 16-year-old, 9-year-old. Have two sisters with my mom. My pops had two other sons, so it's 5 siblings. And I'm from Chattanooga, born and raised Chattanooga, stayed, I guess, on the South all my life here. Good upbringing, I guess. I don't know where else to go with it.
That's good. Well, talk to us a little bit about some of the things you've got to do in your professional life as a man. What types of jobs have you had and been a part of growing up?
Growing up, man, my work history isn't that good, but I got back in the groove of things, and I do landscaping since I was younger, I guess. I do swimming pools that I do on my spare time. Right now, I'm employed with Southern Champion Trade right now, and that's about what I got going on right now.
That's good, man.
And I do work with First Things First also, like being the head over the Dad's Making a Difference alumni team. So I work with them also on the time.
Talk to us a little bit about that. That one just kind of piqued my interest because I think fathers are such a vital role. And I have a very interesting story, fatherhood story myself, about me and my dad and then me and my stepdad and all of that. And so what happens in that program? Like, what's your role? Like, what does it look like? Because I'm not familiar.
Well, first, they have classes that you attend, and I was introduced to this during the time my kids were born, and me and their moms had disagreements on stuff, so I ended up going to court just for my visitation and everything like that. And I was introduced to Reggie through one of my friends that introduced me, saying that he probably could help me out in the situation or whatnot. But they pretty much walked me through all the court situations, things that I needed to know, things that I needed to do. Not that I didn't already know these things, but, you know, they kind of pushed me on into what I had to do. And getting involved in the program, I loved it, man, because I love to inspire people. And a lot of times when I talk and to some of the guys, and it may be like 2 or 3 of them that I might catch, but out of like 10 of them, but I'd be pleased with that 2 people that catch, I get their ear to attention or whatever like that. And I love that because fatherhood is very important, and I stand on that. Any man that have children should feel privileged just to have kids, you know, and they need their dads, you know.
So the gentleman that partakes, so you went through the program yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very vulnerable place. I can see that being a very vulnerable place for men to be. So having gone through the program, like what are the things that you share with the guys that are now listening to you as an alumni?
To be strong, a lot of guys that I have been in contact with, talked to or whatever, a lot of those guys, I can say it came down to the point about the love for the mother, and the fight was really out of spite or whatnot, and not really because you want to be in your kid's life. It's because you want to do something to get back with her, or you love her this much. And that's what I saw a lot of in speaking to the guys. So I would tell them, man, you got to let the love go, man, and base everything on your kids. If this what you're really wanting, what you trying to do, then that part has to go. The feelings or whatever like that. Not that they're just gonna go away, but you have to sit to the side to some point when it comes to your kids and being a man and a father. Cause first and foremost, I think you have to be a man anyway to have children. Cause a lot of guys, I just don't respect them as being men because they don't carry themselves as a man. And one of those things is them not being there for their kids.
Yeah, this podcast, we want to talk about the vocations in our life, the things that God's called us to do, and I think a big responsibility is that of being a father.
Yes.
And you're the father of two young men.
Yes.
What have you learned in this vocation in your life about being what's the big lesson you've learned being a dad as you're trying to raise a 16-year-old and a 9-year-old? What are some things that you're learning through that process yourself?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's like me being a child again, you know what I'm saying? And all the stuff that, like, my father was there. My mom and dad divorced when I was at a young age, but he was always there in my life or whatever. And my granddad had them, and a lot of me looking at my kids and telling them, trying to raise them and mold them to what I think they should be coming about, is just getting it, because a lot of times when I was growing up, my mom, my dad, anybody that was in my life would tell me stuff, and I wouldn't get it. And I'd go on, but, and I get my own kids, now I see all of it, I see all of it, what they was telling me, and I'm just to the point where I'm trying to figure out, how do I get this to stick on my kids quicker than I did, and that's one of the things that I struggle with right there.
Larry, when you figure it out, let me know.
Listen, I was about to say, I'm sure everybody's parents are asking that question.
I'm telling you, I've been working on that part though.
Well, Larry, one thing that I know is really important to you is your relationship with Jesus.
Right.
When did you start following the Lord, and what's that mean to you as you think about, as we're talking about being a dad right now, as you being a dad in particular, what's it mean for you to follow, how'd you start following Jesus, and what's it mean for you right now as you be a dad?
Well, at a young age, I started following the Lord, and cause like we were talking earlier, like how different times is from when I was young growing up, because, we had vacation Bible school and all of that, and that's, I was in then, but of course, like I got to my teenage years and kind of skating away from all of the good and getting influenced, and the temptation, everything was out there. And after I got to going through this program about the dads making a difference, it really kind of gave me time to sit down and, refocus myself and my mind and my life, what direction I'm want to go in and where I'm trying to go at, and what's the best for my boys, because I believe in leading by example, and I got 2 boys that's looking at me, so I'm trying to do, not that I'm a perfect person, because I'll never be that, but I try to do my best, and the Lord helps guide me. Sometimes, man, when we get there, at first I had them on the weekend till my oldest son started staying with me permanent, but we would have our discussions, you know what I'm saying? I'd go over the Bible with us, and we'll have time where we read or whatever like that, and we all pray. And we talk about things that God has done for us, you know, and I always have been on that with my children because I want them to know. And I'm the type of father, man, that like it's good for them to know, for people to tell my children this, but I feel like it should come from me first. You know, as far as my teaching, like the Bible, like their prayers and how they cook, how they clean, all of that should come from me first. I mean, everybody else is good, but I love the point where they say, yeah, my daddy taught me that. My daddy taught me how to do that. My dad, you know, I love that. It chills. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, you know, some people see fatherhood through your eyes. They see it as an honor. They see it as it's a privilege. Other people see it as a fear. It's a fear of losing freedom. It's a fear of having commitment. What is it that you love the most about being a dad? Like what? Like that last thing came pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Being able to hear them say, you know, my daddy taught me that.
Yeah.
But what is it that like just fills your heart that reminds you that I'm doing what God has called me to do as a dad?
Being that teacher, you know, cause I kind of like to teach, you know, and then I got my boys there that I got from birth, you know, trying to put much in them as I can, and the most part about it would be just that, being there for them, man, looking in their eyes, you know, when they hurt or whatever like that, just knowing, you know, you look at your kids, and I had, when I was younger, and I be had something on my mind or whatever, and my mom's and my grandma, they'll see that, you know, and I was like, how did they know that? But, you know, that's one of the other things that I had to see as I got older, and I look at my children, and I like, oh, you got something on your mind. You got something going on. And I just know that. And it's just a blessing for me, man. I love every part of fatherhood. That's why I was so passionate about, you know, making that step to go to the court, to, like, for us, my visitation and everything, because I did not want to be not a part of my kids' life, not for over a week. You know what I'm saying? If I talk to them, and that's the most important thing of being a father, man. And I think everybody should. Every man that has children should be blessed and appreciate that, because you got a little you know, coming up, man, you know, and you got to just do your best with it. And that's why, that's the big thing with me.
So, you know, I kind of think about us in relation to how God sees us, right? Like that God can hear a unspoken request. He can see that I'm in a situation. And so I'm hearing you talk about you and your sons. But God, he's just like that with us, right? And so our willingness to be able to sit, I'm sure your sons have times like we do as children of God, where we're like, you know what? I really don't want to hear this. I know it's the right thing, though.
Right.
You know, we call God Father. The Bible calls God the Father a lot. And for some people, that's something they have to overcome because maybe the relationship with their father was a difficult thing.
Right.
But what I hear you saying is you're kind of creating a legacy for your kids that
That's it.
the understanding when they see who you are as a father and all the things you just described, that's a picture of who God is to us, right? That you're giving them, where when they hear that God is a father, they go, I have an idea what that is because I know what my dad's been for me.
Exactly.
And so that's, I mean, what cool legacy that you're putting in their life that they might not have language for yet, but that's going to be really cool.
Yes.
Well, one part of your life that we haven't talked about, we talked about a huge part of your life there, but there's a part of your life that takes up a lot of your time, and it's going to a job and the side hustles you talked about. So you right now are working at Southern Champion Tray, and tell us how long you've been there and what your role is there at that company in town.
I'm a stock puller at Southern Champion Tray. I started there December of last year, so I haven't been there a year yet. But going there, it's this job and the people there it's like a totally different atmosphere, and that's why I feel like everything that happens on a daily basis, it happens for a reason to me, you know, and getting that job, being around a lot of those people like that, because I can say this job, have never had a job where, I mean, I could relate to everybody, mostly everybody. And it might be like 98% I can relate to, and it's just God sent, and that's what I believe, and that's why I take it as, like, and I can be happy about this. I don't have to worry about, oh, they looking like that or this and that, 'cause that's how I used to be at one point in time. But this a totally different job, though. But I do the stock pulling and.
Yeah. So Southern Champion Trade is an old company in Chattanooga, but some people might not be familiar with it. What does Southern Champion Trade do, and what does your role entail?
Oh, they make boxes for different companies, chicken places, like you might have the boxes, the donut boxes in different places. I mean, it's pretty big. I didn't realize it was as big as it was until I started that with. I don't really know like a lot about it, but I can share that much.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
good.
that much,
Well, I know when I go to a baseball game and get some French fries, if I flip that little red and white thing over, it has this SC Trade thing on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Maybe one that I don't know, maybe you were part of that. So your role is,
But see, they make all the they might run the box because the cardboard from paper at first, and then they go to the next stop where they put in the windows in some of the boxes. And my role is to collect off of each one of the machines that's running. I might have to wrap it, and I load them on trailers and stuff like that.
how many do you think go through the machine in a shift when you're there?
Man, I really couldn't say, but it's probably like I don't want to say a number and it be way off, but 100,000. Because like I said,
It's a lot.
and I still don't think that's close to what it is, but I just throw that number out there because it's a lot that goes through there that I have to load on trailers a day. So
You talked a little bit about the people you get to work with. What is it about the culture at Southern Champion Trade that you've enjoyed being a part of there?
they have this thing. I brought this card with me. It's like the team norm, man. And most of this stuff that they have on here, like the healthy conflict, commitment, accountability, focus on results, 100% responsibility, high trust, clear communications. This all the stuff that I'm on with my church, so it kind of just fit right in. And that's one of the things I love about that, because in conflict, okay, we need to talk about healthy conflict, and I never worked at no place like that, because my job, you said, and this and that, it's big argument, it's no healthy conflict, it's no resolution, not resolving anything. But I can say, honestly, this job, they own that part right there, and I love it, man.
That's good.
How else have you seen like God's love at the place where you're working?
You open to talk about it. A lot of places you can't, because you have so many different beliefs and this and that, and a lot, he said the Lord, he said Jesus, he can't. But that's what I see there. I can say God bless you, and without having any flashbacks or whatever like that. Thank you. I'll be praying for you. Like, I talk to a lot of people, like, because I talk to people, pertaining to where I used to be, all shut down, and just not a people person. But like I said, going through this program, I learned to open up more, and on the good side, because once upon a time, I used to think all karma was bad. I didn't think about no good karma. Like, karma, if you say karma, like years ago, I was like, that's bad. But now it's good karma. I know about good karma now, so I can push that out more. Like, bless you. You having a good day today? I like to see people smile, you know what I'm saying? And I like to smile. That's what one of my coworkers said. You're always happy. You just don't know. I'm not always happy, but I want to be. You would never know if I'm always happy because I'm present that like that. You probably too much not know, but I learned to pray and leave it with the Lord.
Yeah.
Stuff I can't control, leave it with the Lord.
That's good. Yeah, Southern Champion Track. I had the privilege of touring the factory that you're in last year, and I mean it is a production.
Yes.
And not one person can keep that thing running. There really is
Oh yeah.
it's a team.
Team
Everyone
thing.
everyone
Yes.
has a role. And your role, when we were talking earlier, you said, I'm just doing this. No, you're not just doing that. That's a really important role to keep that process moving. What happens when one part of that process isn't working? What on those days when things aren't going well, what's going on? And how do you guys work as a team to fix those problems?
Oh, they work because pretty much I'm on the back end of things. So if the machine's not running, pretty much I'm not, because I'm collecting finished product that they running. So if the machine's not running, I'm not doing nothing. And then a lot of people, I see a lot of frustrated people doing that process a lot of times. So I just kind of distance away from them if cause I don't want to add to the frustration. Anything, how you could just say anything and, it's just another trick. So I don't want to do that either way, so.
So how has God allowed you to be a blessing to your coworkers? And here's the thing: you can actually think about not just at Southern Champion Trade, but any of the work that you do. Like how do you feel God allows you to bless others in the work that you do?
Just getting a smile. If I could put a smile on somebody, cause a lot of times and a lot of jobs, not just this one that I have worked, and not just on job, just out. If I know and look like you got something going on, I try to enlighten that. Try to make you feel like a little better. Try to throw your mind off of what's got you bogged down or whatever like that. And I think that's what God uses me a lot of times to do, like help people out. Because, I learned it. You never know, and I tell my sons this all the time. You never know what you could say to a person that will just make their whole day. You never know, and it could be how you doing, because people don't get that. A lot of times you just don't get that, from people or whatnot. And just being able to do that. God bless me with a voice. I can hear, I can speak, I can touch, feel. I mean, I'm blessed by itself, and like just getting up every morning is overwhelming for me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people did not get up this morning, didn't make it out of bed this morning. So, and that's something else I pass on with my kids. You be grateful for this day, man, this morning. When you get up, you thank the Lord for, waking you up this morning, because that alarm clock didn't do it.
Right.
So.
You're using a lot of words that are making me think of to describe you as grateful and someone with joy. And I know joy doesn't always mean always happy, like you said, but that it comes from you. And joy and gratefulness is something that comes out and it affects others. Oftentimes, though, like bitterness and that we hold on or shame, it actually makes us go in. We kind of suck things out.
Yes.
And I hear what you're saying. That's the gospel, though, is where it goes out in the world, and that's what I hear you getting to do.
Yes. That's what I try to do, man, because I'm grateful, forever grateful. I have a 16-year-old that ain't there yet. And I'm just working, Lord. I'm talking to the Lord constantly. Lord, please touch my children. Touch me, help me to understand, lead me the way that I need to show him, what I was talking about, that he could catch it more sooner than later, instead of having to go through stuff, finding out the hard way. Like I was told, you don't want to listen, you're going to find out the hard way. And a lot of times that's what happened. I don't want my children to have to go through that, man. I'm just like, I don't want them to have to cry, suffer. I don't want that,
Yeah.
But that's life, though, man. That's just where I am with it, though, with my kids.
That's good.
So your boys seem to be a very central motivation for you to live the life that God would have you live before them. They may listen to this podcast, right? What is it about leaving a legacy for your boys that's motivating you every day?
I have been on this legacy thing since I guess pretty much a little bit after my little Larry. Well, my children's name is Little Larry Daniel Jr. and Levin Daniel. So little Larry, he ever since he was born, I've been on that trying to get to that point in my mind where I need to be at to have that legacy started for us looking for my kids, like, and I just, it's just something in me for us having a legacy to lead them, like this job, like my pool stuff that I do, you know what I'm saying? I want to leave all of that behind. I want to leave them stuff behind, like, to carry and remember me after I'm gone. Who's to say that I'll be gone before them? But that's just, if I'm gone before them, I want them to realize how much that this means to me for them to carry my legacy out and whatnot.
And so hearing how you're just rooted in wanting to be better, wanting to do more of God. Like, your boys will hear this, right? And so the legacy may not be the pool business. It may not be the lawn care business, right? But like, what is that godly legacy that you want to leave? Like, what do you want them to know about God?
I want them to know that God is everlasting, and all things are done through God. Nothing is done without God. That's what I believe, and that's what I want them to know. And I tell them that also. Like, I was saying about the alarm. You got up this morning, that was God. You walking, that's God, And it'd be a lot of times, like my son, Larry Jr., he played basketball. Well, he been playing, but he was at Howard last year. And I be on him so much about leadership, and being a leader. And because, at one point in time, all leaders had followed at some point in their life. Most leaders I know that had to follow in their life. And I tell them, like, God, it's nothing without God. And that's basically what it is. It's nothing without God. You are nothing without God. We nothing without God. And if we could only believe in our hearts a lot of people, then I think we'll be a better place, man.
Larry, is there a Bible story or a Bible verse that really resonates with you, that is part of your story, that is a life verse or a life story from Scripture that drives you every day?
I gotta say, John 3:16, the first Bible verse I ever learned, and it's still right today. And
it's a good one.
That's what stuck when you say that. That's what I think about. John 3:16, God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, and nothing is done without God. Nothing is done without Him, and like before my kids were born, I was totally different, man. I walk different, I talk different, I act different. I mean, it was mostly everything was different. But a lot of people see me now and they see I done did it, turn around, and like a lot of people that we used to be around, they not. I cut all of the cut tie, and it was amazing because I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling her how hard it is, when you love a person, but when a person show you who they are, believe it. The first time it ain't. I mean, cause you don't want to believe this because you care so much about this person and you love, I give them a pass or whatever, and it ended up keep on being a recurring thing, and I just feel like that about that.
Well, that's a verse that, it's the reason we do love. That God loved us first enough to send His Son, right?
Yes.
Which is like Him saying, I want you to be my kids. That's why He brought Him there. And I hear you being a father, something that's really important to you, leaving a legacy for them and working hard. The fact that you want to bring joy to people's lives, like, this is stuff that points to God's love. And I want you to know, like, you're getting to do that with the people you work with, whether that's in your businesses on the side or at Southern Champion Tray. but also the products that you make are a way to bless and serve the city,
Right.
and all over the place where those products get used for moments of joy and happiness that you get to be a part of by doing that work. So thank you for what you do in all these spheres of your life. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for this conversation. We have really appreciated it. And we know that there are going to be listeners, going to be dads, going to be families who will be blessed by this episode featuring your wonderful story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Weekday Saints podcast. Join us back here for our next episode. We have someone really, really good for you.